Hi, my radiant Leo. Welcome to Eternal Mindfulness, and let me make this clear in the first few seconds. This video is a powerful wake-up call from the universe. Fame, fortune, and personal power are moving toward you fast, and the shift will begin after April 6, 2025. All you need to do is open your heart and listen. Let me ask you something. Have you been feeling it lately? That quiet sense that something big is about to happen, but you can't quite explain what it is? Maybe it's a strange feeling in your chest. Maybe you've caught people looking at you differently. Maybe the idea of more keeps knocking on your door, more success, more influence, more recognition. Whatever it is that led you here, I want you to know this: nothing about your presence here is random. In the realm of energy, nothing ever is. In Buddhist philosophy, even the smallest encounter is a karmic connection, and today, your soul has answered a call that began long before this moment. You didn't click on this video by accident. You were guided here, not because you're chasing fame or wealth, but because you're ready to remember who you are, the light itself. And Leo, you can no longer run from that light, because you are that light. Not the spotlight the world throws at you, but the fire that has always lived inside your chest, the regal glow of your inner sun. This message isn't here to flatter you. It's here to awaken you. The version of you that you've been holding back, the bold, magnetic, deeply empowered you, is ready to rise. And the universe is clearing the path ahead. Energy is shifting right now. Not in chaos, but in perfect alignment. You'll begin to notice it in small but undeniable ways: your name coming up in unexpected places, invitations appearing out of nowhere, someone seeing your value before you even speak. That's not luck. That's destiny arriving. If you're feeling a subtle shiver through your spirit right now, a quiet knowing, that's your frequency tuning into the message you've been waiting for. Because after April 6th, money, attention, and soul recognition will flow toward you in ways that may even scare you with their precision. And Leo, let me take just a moment to say this from the deepest part of my heart. Thank you for being here. Every like, every comment you leave, every time you subscribe or share this message, you're not just helping this channel grow. You're becoming more deeply connected to the Eternal Mindfulness family. And your support is the energy that allows us to keep delivering these life-changing messages to you, and to the collective. So please, stay with me until the very end of this reading, because what the universe is revealing today is nothing short of breathtaking. Let's take a breath together, and let me ask you, my loyal and brilliant Leo, what have you done recently to summon such divine timing? Because something tells me your inner lion has roared, and now, the universe is listening. There are moments in life when things no longer need to be proven, they simply begin to unfold. What you've planted quietly, what you've held with grace, is now stepping into the sunlight, not with noise, but with certainty. That's exactly what this moment holds for you, Leo. It's not just about external recognition or applause. It's about the energetic shift that occurs when your inner value finally matches what the world sees in you. For so long, you've carried yourself with quiet strength, made decisions rooted in heart, and kept showing up even when no one was watching. Now, the universe responds. When the Emperor appears in a reading, especially for you, Leo, it's not merely a card about power. It's a reflection of authority rooted in integrity, structure born from inner clarity. This isn't about domination, but presence. The kind of presence that doesn't demand attention, yet effortlessly commands it. Just as a mountain doesn't try to prove its height, nor the sun try to prove its brilliance, your energy is becoming something unshakable, and this newfound steadiness is precisely what draws both influence and admiration toward you. In the cycle of life, there's a natural rhythm. We sow, we wait, we rise. And rising doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it feels like a calm, undeniable knowing that the time has come. April 6th carries a frequency encoded with the number 7, a sacred number symbolizing reflection, mastery, and quiet spiritual evolution. While others chase visibility, your journey is about alignment. That means what you're attracting now is a direct result of who you've become, not just what you've done. It may feel surreal at first. You could find yourself being noticed more, chosen more, invited more. People may start looking to you for leadership or guidance in ways that once felt far off. But this isn't luck, it's the natural magnetism that arises when someone begins living in harmony with their deeper rhythm. In the same way that a flower doesn't try to be seen but blooms because it is time, your season of recognition is beginning to reveal itself. And recognition is not limited to public praise. True power, the kind that lasts, begins when we recognize ourselves, not as we were, but as we are now becoming. This part of the journey is less about proving worth, and more about embodying it. Like a river that no longer questions its direction, your flow is becoming natural, purposeful, and quietly unstoppable. What may surprise you is how effortless some things begin to feel. Conversations that used to exhaust you suddenly uplift you. Tasks you once delayed now feel invigorating. People who never noticed you may now seem drawn to your energy. These are signs not only of energetic expansion, but of rightful timing. You are not stepping into a role you've never known, you're returning to a truth you've always carried. And while this all feels exciting, it's also sacred. The ability to lead with heart, to influence without ego, to attract without manipulation, these are signs of someone who has integrated their inner fire. Power doesn't have to shout. Sometimes, it simply sits quietly in the room, and everyone feels it. That's the kind of presence you're stepping into now. Take this as permission, not from me, not from the world, but from your own soul, to rise without apology. To be seen not because you crave attention, but because your light can no longer stay hidden. The most radiant leaders are those who guide not by fear, but by example. And Leo, you are becoming one of them, simply by remembering who you are. There's something incredibly powerful that happens when you stop trying to prove your worth and instead begin to embody it. After all, how can true abundance, whether it's wealth, recognition, or influence, flow into a life that doesn't yet believe it deserves to receive? You are not being asked to hustle or force anything. Rather, you are being invited to gently realign your internal compass, to choose belief over doubt, presence over noise, and trust over fear. The work begins quietly, not with grand gestures but with subtle shifts in awareness. Real transformation rarely announces itself with fireworks. It's more like a soft ripple, a breath, a feeling that something sacred is settling in. You've already felt it, haven't you? That growing desire to be seen, not for who you pretend to be, but for the truth that has always lived quietly inside of you. That desire is not arrogance, it's remembrance. You are recalling the brilliance you were born with. And that remembrance becomes the soil where new life takes root. Imagine now, just for a moment, a glowing ring of light, fiery and alive, circling your chest and your throat. This is not a fantasy, this is a focus. You're not imagining something outside of you. You're simply tuning into something already present within you. This light moves with your breath. It responds to your attention. And with each inhale, you begin to feel more grounded, more aligned, more ready. If you speak the words aloud, feel the way they vibrate through your body. I am ready to be seen. I am ready to succeed. These are not empty affirmations. They are keys. The act of speaking them with intention unlocks a deep current of energy that's been waiting for your permission to rise. It's as if your entire being has been holding its breath, waiting for you to say yes to the path you were destined for. Colors carry frequency. When you surround yourself with tones like golden yellow, ruby red, or glowing amber, you're not just creating a mood, you're adjusting your frequency to match the vibration of boldness, visibility, and creative power. These are the colors that naturally harmonize with your Leo essence. You don't need to force their effect. Simply wear them, sit near them, or place them in your space, and let their energy speak gently to your spirit. And then there are the tools of the earth, stones that were formed over centuries, pulsing with quiet wisdom. Tiger's eye, with its warm, shimmering bands of golden brown, is one of those sacred companions. This stone doesn't promise instant fame or fortune. What it offers is a steadiness, a reminder that real power is grounded, not rushed. It aligns perfectly with your natural leadership, amplifying confidence without ego, and drawing opportunities that match your worth, not your fears. All of this, your thoughts, your words, your environment, are the threads that weave your reality. In the same way a calm pond reflects the sky above, your inner clarity reflects outward into every conversation, every choice, every outcome. When you move from doubt to embodiment, from hesitation to declaration, the world responds. Not because it suddenly sees you, but because you've finally allowed yourself to be seen. What happens next will not be loud, but it will be real. And it will be yours. There are moments when life doesn't speak with words but instead whispers through patterns, feelings, and chance encounters that seem far too aligned to be accidental. Perhaps someone recently mentioned your name out of nowhere, or you've noticed lion imagery showing up in the most unexpected places. Maybe you've caught yourself being the center of attention without even trying, and you felt a strange tingling in your body, as if something just beneath the surface was beginning to rise. These experiences may seem small, but when they repeat, when they arrive at the exact moment your inner world begins to shift, they become undeniable signals. Not from some faraway power, but from the deeper intelligence already moving through you. This kind of synchronicity arises when the mind becomes quiet enough to notice what's always been present. In many ancient teachings, it is said that when the heart and intention align, the outer world begins to mirror the inner landscape. The fog clears. What once felt confusing becomes illuminated, not because the world has changed, but because you are now able to see clearly. And what you're seeing, Leo, is yourself, through the reflection of the universe around you. The card of the world appearing in your energetic space is no small matter. This is the culmination of a journey, the moment when something you've been slowly building begins to reveal its shape. It is the harvest after the long planting season. It is the full breath after holding in so much doubt. But here's the catch. The world doesn't offer you completion unless you are willing to fully arrive in your own life. You can't stay half-hidden and expect to be fully blessed. Presence is the final step before transformation. There is a teaching that says, when you stop running from your own reflection, you no longer fear the truth of who you are. And this is exactly the stage you've reached. All the experiences, the trials, the inner work, they weren't random. They've been preparing you for this stretch of road, where recognition no longer feels foreign but instead like the natural consequence of your quiet alignment. The signs you've been seeing? They're invitations. They're nudges from the deeper rhythms of existence saying, yes, keep going. Yes, this is real. But you must meet them halfway. Just as a seed reaches for the sun, you must also reach for the moment that's reaching for you. That reach doesn't have to be loud. It can be a shift in how you speak about yourself. A new openness in how you receive praise. A gentle decision to stop shrinking in rooms you were born to lead. The most extraordinary shifts often begin with a breath, with noticing, with trust. When you pause long enough to feel the wind shift, to sense the pulse of timing that surrounds you, you realize you're not waiting anymore. You're already in motion. The signs around you are not promises of the future, they are mirrors of the now. You are already becoming. You are already glowing. And yes, people are looking because your light has become impossible to ignore. So let yourself be seen. Let your steps become steady, even if your heart trembles at first. Because every moment of doubt you've walked through, every quiet transformation you've endured, is now shaping a version of you the world is ready to meet. Not as a surprise, but as a revelation. There are certain dates that don't just pass by, they ripple. April 6th is one of those rare thresholds where invisible momentum becomes visible movement. While much of what you've experienced up until now has felt like preparation, subtle shifts, and quiet groundwork, this is the moment when energy begins to crystallize into opportunity. You've been cultivating not just your talents, but your inner authority. And now, you're about to see that inner growth reflected back to you through recognition, wealth, and influence in the outer world. This isn't a sudden windfall or a stroke of luck. It's the natural response to the clarity you've been anchoring within. In ancient traditions, there's a quiet truth. When the self becomes undivided, the world becomes responsive. That means when your actions, thoughts, and values move in harmony, you no longer have to chase success. It begins to align itself in your direction. People start mentioning your name in the right rooms. Conversations open that were previously closed. The light you once protected now becomes the light others are drawn to. Not because it's loud, but because it's steady. It's important to remember that this kind of shift doesn't arrive with drama or noise. It arrives with precision. Like the exact moment the sun crosses the horizon, not rushing, not hesitating, but perfectly timed. The invitations coming your way, be it a message, a call, an offer, are not random. They are echoes of everything you've already said yes to internally. They're mirrors to your self-respect, your readiness, your willingness to take up space with grace. What others are beginning to notice now is not something new, it's something you've carried all along. You are not being discovered. You are being remembered. There's a difference. Being remembered means the world is finally catching up to what your soul has always known, that you were meant to lead, to influence, to build with purpose. The spotlight that's forming around you isn't blinding, it's warming. It doesn't demand performance, it invites presence. You may feel a flutter of nerves. That's okay. Even the most centered beings feel the tremble before stepping into a fuller version of themselves. But this isn't about performance. It's about alignment. It's about walking forward not because you need validation, but because you're ready to serve at a greater level. Leadership, after all, is not about standing above, it's about holding space. And as someone who is now stepping into this brighter phase, your role is not just to shine, but to reflect light back onto others. Let this next chapter be guided not by urgency, but by rhythm. Trust the timing of what unfolds. You do not need to force momentum, you simply need to stay open to it. Just as water finds its path around every stone, your energy will know where to flow. All that's asked of you now is to stay awake to the signs, say yes to the right invitations, and hold steady in your worth. You're no longer waiting on the sidelines. You're no longer preparing. You are, in every sense of the word, arriving. And the world is ready. What if success isn't something you chase, but something that naturally arrives when you're no longer afraid to hold it? By now, you've likely begun to notice that the energy moving toward you isn't chaotic or accidental. It's precise and deeply earned. Recognition, wealth, and influence don't appear just because the stars align, they arrive when your inner strength is ready to carry them. And you, Leo, have been quietly preparing for this moment far longer than you give yourself credit for. Fame and financial power, when grounded in a clear sense of self, don't inflate the ego, they illuminate purpose. When your actions arise from steady awareness rather than a need for approval, you begin to embody a presence that doesn't demand attention, but draws it in effortlessly. This is the difference between superficial validation and lasting influence. And for someone like you, whose essence carries both the warmth of the sun and the steadiness of fire, it's not about standing above others, it's about becoming a clear, steady source of light that others naturally gather around. True prosperity begins from within, not just as a mindset, but as a recognition of your own value. There's a wisdom teaching that says, when the bowl is full, it overflows not because it is forced, but because it can no longer contain its fullness. In the same way, your life is beginning to overflow not from striving, but from the quiet strength you've cultivated inside. That strength, your integrity, your loyalty, your devotion to doing things with care, has built a container that is now ready to hold more. More visibility. More responsibility. More reward. You are not becoming someone new. You are stepping more fully into who you already are. All the pressure to prove or perform starts to dissolve when you realize that your worth was never up for negotiation. Your journey hasn't been about becoming worthy of success, but about becoming capable of holding it wisely. You're not simply receiving opportunities, you're becoming the kind of person those opportunities were designed to meet. There's a stillness in true power. It doesn't shout. It doesn't scramble. It doesn't have to push its way through a crowded room. Instead, it stands rooted in truth. And because of that, the world begins to pause, to notice, to listen. This is your gift, Leo. You don't need to roar. When you're centered, your energy speaks volumes. Now, as you prepare to move forward, ask yourself with gentle honesty, am I truly ready to step into my own empire? Not as a fantasy of control or status, but as a living reality where your influence serves something greater than your own image. Are you ready to be seen not just as talented, but as trustworthy? Not just as charismatic, but as deeply grounded in value? If the answer is yes, even quietly yes, then what comes next will not overwhelm you. It will reveal you. And as it does, remember this, the world doesn't need another performer. It needs presence. It needs you, exactly as you are when you stop performing, stop comparing, and start trusting that your path was never meant to look like anyone else's. The time for shrinking is over. This is the part of your story where you rise, not with noise, but with clarity. Not with force, but with truth. And maybe it does feel a little scary, stepping into a version of yourself so bold, so brilliant, that even you pause to ask, am I really ready for this? But here's the truth, Leo, you don't need to be fearless. You only need to be willing. Willing to say yes when opportunity knocks. Willing to trust that the light you've been hiding was never too much, it was always just right. Willing to believe, even in your most quiet moments, that your voice matters, your presence matters, and your path has purpose far greater than applause alone. The wealth and recognition flowing toward you now are not some cosmic accident. They are a response. A reflection. A sacred echo of the work you've done within. All of those times you chose integrity over ego, truth over convenience, growth over comfort, that's what's being rewarded now. And it's not just about what you'll gain. It's about who you'll become in the process of receiving it. Because this isn't fame for fame's sake. This is the kind of success that elevates not only you, but everyone you touch. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want to invite you into a space of stillness, a moment of gratitude, not just for what's coming, but for the version of you that kept showing up even when no one was watching. That inner lion, quiet and steady, that kept moving forward through self-doubt and silence. That part of you is the reason everything is about to change. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what if this time, I don't hold back? What if I let myself receive fully, without apology, without explanation? What if I finally believe that I am the right person, in the right place, at the right time? These are not questions for the mind to answer. These are seeds for the heart. And if you water them, through the rituals we've practiced, the affirmations you whisper, the choices you make when no one's looking, they will bloom into a life that feels so aligned, you'll wonder why you ever doubted it in the first place. So I ask you now, dear Leo, what part of your future is waiting for you to say yes to it? What would it look like to trust your light fully, to let your brilliance be the very reason doors open for you, effortlessly and often? Leave me a comment and let me know, what resonated most with you in today's reading? What are you claiming for yourself in this new cycle? I truly want to hear from you. And if you found value in this message, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our Eternal Mindfulness family, and share this with a fellow Leo who needs a reminder of their worth. Your support not only helps us grow, it helps us continue delivering these transformative messages to those who need them most. I see you. I honor your journey. And I'm grateful beyond words that you chose to spend your time and energy here with me. You don't need to chase the light anymore, Leo. You are the light. And the world is finally ready to see you for who you truly are. Let's keep rising, together.